A year and a half ago, I made a video talking about my deconstruction journey and just what I was going through, separating myself from Christianity, getting that out of my life, and what it felt like, what it was like on the other side. And to be honest, I didn't do it for likes or clicks or nothing like that. I actually put that video out there because it was something I was holding on to, and I just had to get it off my chest. Number one, and the second reason why I did it is because I was holding on to it and what I was feeling and going through. It just had me thinking, like, there's got to be somebody else out there going through the same thing. So I wanted to make that video, which I'll link to it right here. I wanted to make that video because I felt alone, and I just wanted people to know that they weren't alone, that this is, if you're experiencing this, if you are feeling uncomfortable within your religion and you want to explore something, there is an alternative. And so the crazy thing is, when I put that out there, the response was like immediate. Like, I was getting comments and messages and DMs and text messages and like all kinds of shit. And I'd say it's like 50-50 positive, negative. I had a lot of people that were like, man, I know what you're going through. I feel you. Had some people that were like telling me how I love my sin and how I'm going to hell. I had people reach out to me that knew me, and they were like, we got to bring you back. We got to get you back, brother, and all of this stuff. And it's just like, man, I'm not going to say it was overwhelming, but it was enlightening. So I want to make a follow-up video. And if you followed me based on that video, thank you. I'm about to hit 2K subscribers probably by the time I'm done recording this. And I just hope that as this video drops, it doesn't make you want to unsubscribe because of my stance on religion. Okay, that's what I'm gonna get into right now. So here's the thing. First of all, I don't consider myself an atheist. I personally don't like to put labels and categorize myself, but if I had to subscribe to some ideology, I would say more agnostic. Like, I don't personally believe there's any way that any of us can know for a fact whether there's a God, whether honestly Jesus Christ existed or not, if any of that shit in the Bible is true. There's no way we can prove that. But if, gun to my head, you were like, yo, do you believe in God or do you not? Like, I'm gonna have to say, no, I do not believe in the existence of God, of a God. It just doesn't logically click for me. And no matter how hard I tried to latch onto this belief, and even diving into Christianity and immersing myself in the teachings of Jesus Christ, in the Bible and all this, like, it just caused more confusion and more like tension in my life. And so as I went through this journey and started to evolve, I started to notice people acting differently. And then I started to notice my reaction to things religious. And so one of the things that really stuck out to me is, okay, if let's say for the sake of argument, I'm going to hold on to the title of agnostic atheist, right? Like, I don't believe we know or we have any clue really if there is an existence of a God, but I'm leaning towards no. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just believe that things happen and we assign meaning to them. And a lot of us give the credit to somebody up there. You know, that's just what it is. And if that belief brings you peace, then so be it. As for me, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. There's too many holes in the plot for me to be like, okay, I believe that. Like, it just doesn't work for me. Okay, but one thing that I did notice was that as I started to disconnect from religion, and more specifically as I started to disconnect from the notion of the existence of a God, it really, as a black man, sets me kind of apart from the black community as a whole, because for some reason, and we can look back into the indoctrination using Christianity for slaves, and we can kind of paint that picture as to why Christianity is so prevalent in the black community. But as a black person, as a black male who doesn't believe in God, start to become an anomaly. And so what I want to explore in this conversation, mind you, I don't have all the answers, but I got a gang of questions that we can continue to roll out and just come to an understanding here, because I'm very confident now. A year and a half ago, I was very, like, I didn't know where I was going with it. I just knew that Christianity didn't feel right for me. Christianity was not it for me, and releasing it brought me a lot of peace that I continue to have on a daily basis. And I think that for a lot of people who have dove into religion but still remain logical in their thinking, they've probably seen the same way. So I want to make one thing clear. Atheist does not mean amoral. So for anybody, black, white, doesn't matter. For somebody who holds on to the title of atheist, you got to understand, like, that does not mean that we're just, in your terms, like heathens or people who have no rules or no morals, right? Like, I don't believe that religion or even the existence of God is equal to morality. Like, you can, it's common sense, man. Like, you don't do to people what you don't want to have done to you. It's just a natural way of existing. And if you can maintain your peace by creating peace for others, it does not have to be attached to any religion. It does not have to be a message that you received from somebody above. It does not have to come from a book. You can just use your freaking brain and say, like, this is right and this is wrong. And again, we attach meaning to things, but I don't want my actions to be in fear of punishment. And that was a big deal when I was really into Christianity, was just thinking that everything I did was wrong in the eyes of God. And for the things that went right in my life that I attributed to God's grace, you start to look at the things in the world, not just in my life, but in the world that are not. And you go, is this God too? And then, you know what I'm saying? Then we talk about the devil, which I don't believe in either. A lot of people have told me, and what really strikes me about the comments that I've received, a vast majority of them, I'd say like 90% of them, are for people who don't know me personally. They tell me I'm going to hell. They tell me the devil has got a hold of me. And it's so interesting how within the black community specifically, we have this fear of the devil. What is the devil? What is that? In the comments, let me know, what is your interpretation of the devil? Because, like, as far as I know, it's the pitchfork in the ear. It's just all made up, man. And it's made up to instill fear. So if we're constantly in fear of the devil and we're constantly in fear of judgment from God, like, how is that a peaceful life? So as I seep into this existence, you know what I mean? It really brings me to this place of like, okay, I understand how fragile people are when it comes to challenging their religion. And so I, as a black man, I, as a man, me as a human who does not believe in the existence of a God, how do I respond to conversations? How do I respond to gestures like that? And it's been really interesting. So as I stand, I made it very clear, and I made a declaration when I decided to disconnect myself, that I wasn't going to be antagonistic about it. So I used to get into it with my younger brother because he has always been an atheist. And I used to get into it with him because at a certain point he was antagonistic with it. He was just like, you know, kind of making fun of the beliefs. My mom is very much a believer. I don't want to say she's a Christian, but she's very much a believer in God and in Jesus Christ and all that. And I just made sure that I wasn't very antagonistic. So there's really, you know, there's a lot of things that I hear that I just kind of brush off. And I just want you to know, like, if you are a Christian, if you are a religious person, not just Christian, but just a religious person, I get that some of you, not even go as far as to say most of you do not mean harm when you say things like, I'm going to pray for you, or you say, like, you know, God bless you, or God's showing out in your life. Like, you don't mean any harm with that. Okay. I, as a person who does not believe in any of that you just say, I don't believe that prayer does anything other than the same power as an affirmation. Like, it's more of a programming. It's more of a speaking things into existence, which just programs your actions. Like, I believe logically there's an explanation for everything. So when you say you're going to pray for me, I just say thank you. Like, I really do. But just know, like, you don't have to. You don't have to do that. It's not going to make a difference one way or another in my life. And so I see a lot of things that people say, God's going to do this for me. And I live and let live. If that's what you believe, and if the thing happens for you and you attribute its happening to God, then so be it, right? But I do not want the inverse to happen, okay? And so in this new year, this is why I make this video. I want there to be a safer space for people who do not believe in any type of God, anything in the Bible. Like, do not connect with religion whatsoever. We should be able to speak just as freely as people who do, because America is not a Christian nation as much as it would like to pretend to be. And of course, it goes back to what I was talking about with these other countries and bringing religion over and using the indoctrination tactics to keep people, you know what I mean? I don't think that we need to continue to suppress our voices in terms of where we stand. You know, I feel like as a black atheist, I'll just, you know, ride with that title for right now. You almost feel like you're on eggshells sometimes, especially when you're dealing with the black community, especially when you're dealing with your relatives. You can't say certain things. You cannot challenge certain beliefs. It's what they would consider blasphemy. And again, it's kind of like, at this point, we are so firm in our non-belief that I can have an enlightened conversation with you. I can challenge your beliefs and you can challenge my non-belief. And I hope we can have a civil conversation about these things. But just like as it stands right now, I have really developed my mindset, developed my heart, and just created a foundation in my life that is void of anything religious. You know, I believe that when things happen, they happen. There's no real like preordained anything. There's no rhyme or reason to why things happen in this life other than what we assign to it. And so that's where everything comes, you know, full circle. If you and I witness the same thing occur, you could say it's a miracle. I could say it's just a thing that happened, and they could both be true and we can live in harmony. But as soon as you place your judgment upon me for not attributing that or anything to God, that's where we have an issue. And so I just want you to know, if you're a religious person, if you're a Christian listening to it, that I personally, and I hope anybody who has the title of even agnostic, atheist, or anything that's not religious, that I'm not speaking for everybody, I'm speaking for myself. I personally don't think any less of you for your beliefs, and I ask for the same respect. All right, so I hope that we can coexist. I hope that this is a conversation that we can continue to explore, because a year and a half after professing my deconstruction publicly, which, come on now, who does that? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like for anybody who knows that about me, it has either brought us closer or created a wall. And either way, like, I don't think religion is really that important that it should supersede how you feel about a person. I was watching this dating show yesterday, and this woman, she was really feeling the guy, and then she asked him a question about one of his habits, and he was like, you know, I play poker. She's like, is it for money? He's like, yeah. She's like, I'm out. And it was like, damn, why? She's like, you're gambling. That goes against my religious beliefs. And it's like, wow, okay, I get that your religion is important to you, but to place your judgment upon this person because they don't have the same exact belief as you is the reason why there's so much tension when it comes to having these conversations. So let's kick that door down. Let's stop putting this stigma on the black atheist. Let's stop putting the stigma on atheists, period. And let's be civil. If you want to explore our individual belief systems, I think that there's so much growth that could happen from that. But if you're not willing to do that, if you stand so firm in what you believe and you point your finger and place judgment upon people who believe differently, you are part of the problem. And you're exactly why people like me have disconnected from religion, have disconnected from Christianity. And the fact that I do not believe that there is somebody sitting on the throne, that I don't believe that there is an afterlife, I don't believe that I'm going to be punished in any way, shape, or form after this for my actions. The punishment happens right in the moment, whatever you do, whether it's, you walk out in the middle of traffic, you're going to get punished by getting hit by a car. If you do unto others and it's against the law, you will go to jail. You will have to deal with the consequences of that. That's how that works out in my head. But that notwithstanding, if we can come to an understanding and coexist peacefully, I think that's the way that we all grow. Let's make that our goal for this new year, that anybody and everybody can have these conversations and feel safe in doing so. So if you're a person who's questioning your belief, you should be able to vocalize that. You should be able to express that without fear of judgment or being ostracized by the people you care about. Can we do that, please? I want to thank y'all once again for tapping in with me, man. This is, again, just me kind of talking raw from the jaw. In the past, I haven't been the type of person to really get into these conversations. In fact, I avoid political and religious conversations, but I feel like there can be growth that can happen when we're all willing to listen to what the other person has to say, take it in. We can butt it up against our own beliefs, and here's a novel idea. Let's be willing to expand our own worldview. Can we do that? Thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be dropping more videos this year. Like I said, I'm pretty sure this is going to hit people's ears and at least get your gears turning and have you thinking more and more about your belief system. If it suits you, why do you believe the things that you believe? And people who believe differently than you, whether it be an atheist, whether it be a Muslim, a Jew, like anything, they're not bad people unless they have ill intent in their heart. But based on their belief systems, if it's different than yours, it doesn't make them a bad person. All right. Now look, let's go out there and be great. All y'all that's watching this video, I need you to keep your eyes on your vision and your mind on your grind. Let's go.